The more invisible I become, the more death I have to endure. As Chao Mu looked at this Iron Maiden, the Iron Maiden said to herself, this person has strong blood energy. He is not some nobody. And she asked, and who are you? Chao Mu said, this old man's name is Chao Shuangsen. The Iron Maiden replied, I have never heard of your name, old man. Chao Mu stood firm and said, then you better remember it from now on. And in an instant Chao Mu vanished. Chao Mu immediately attacked the Iron Maiden with her blood sword. The Iron Maiden was able to swing her spear. Chao Mu stood silently. Suddenly, the Iron Maiden's mask shattered. Chao Mu asked, am I qualified to pass now? The Iron Maiden said, this Angshi pass can only stop mediocre people, but it cannot stop a true expert. Chao Mu thought to himself, this Iron Maiden seems quite old. Has she been guarding this place alone for so many years? The Iron Maiden said, Mr. Chao, please follow me inside the pass. Chao Mu replied, yes. And he thought to himself, now that she has shown her face, she became much easier to talk to. At the back, Mr. Hai shouted, can I follow you too? If you are going into the desert, I can assist Mr. Chao by carrying your luggage. The Iron Maiden said, you go train for another 40 years. Mr. Hai said, Hero Chao, we can only rely on you to deliver these letters. Hero Chao, we are counting on you. Chao Mu said, no problem, leave it to me. Then Chao Mu looked at the people and said, everyone, wait for the news. Mr. Hai said, take care, Hero Chao. We will wait for your return. And the people shouted, farewell, Hero Chao. Another one said, farewell, Hero Chao. A few moments later, the Iron Maiden unmounted her horse and said, all right, the desert is just ahead. It is best to stock up on water and other supplies before leaving the pass. Chao Mu said, thank you. Also, there is something I would like to ask you. Iron Maiden. The Iron Maiden asked, what is it? Chao Mu said, I sensed it when you came out of the pass just now. Where did you learn the martial saint spirit technique? Are you somehow connected with the martial extreme society? The Iron Maiden replied, martial saint spirit technique? I am not using the martial saint spirit technique, and I do not have any connection with the martial extreme society. You do not need to pry into my affairs. I have been guarding this pass for so many years out of my own personal will. Chao Mu said, I guess I will not get anything out of you with that attitude. Chao Mu thought to himself, if I have not refined my spirit, how could I sense it? And why was it deliberately hidden? Perhaps I can find the answer along the way. Chao Mu then said, farewell. The Iron Maiden said, take care, Elder Chao. And she whispered to herself while watching Chao Mu walk away, I hope you will not. As Chao Mu vanished from her sight, dust blew on the horizon. A few moments later, Chao Mu thought to himself, if there are still lone soldiers holding out in this desert, I will do my best to help them find peace. If it is just a scam, then it would not be so bad. At least there will not really be an Iron Army fighting alone and abandoned until now. Just thinking about this makes me feel miserable. According to Dao Zhen, as long as I find the Grand Array and use the realm-breaking talisman, I can find that city. Then Chao Mu heard noises from a distance. He thought to himself, is this sound coming from iron armor? Could I have found the remnant army so quickly? As Chao Mu rushed to the cliff, he was then shocked and thought, are these the legendary ghost soldiers passing through? Suddenly the army stopped and vanished. Chao Mu thought to himself in shock, they disappeared in the blink of an eye. Does this not prove that this is where the immortal sex array is located? A man suddenly appeared behind Chao Mu. He looked behind and said, who? Chao Mu thought to himself, gone. What swift movement. Or maybe there was not anyone. This is most likely where the lone city is. Might as well give it a try, Chao Mu said as he took out a talisman. It suddenly burned in his hand. Chao Mu, shocked, saw another dimension and thought to himself, the ghost soldiers are attacking the city. Dao Zhen was telling the truth. Those old soldiers have been guarding this place all along. Have they been fighting these ghost soldiers the entire time? Just as the ghost soldiers were about to ram the gates, suddenly, an army rushed out and shouted, brothers, hold the city gate. An old man fought against the ghost army, and in an instant he vanished, only to become a doll. The army charged and shouted, stop them, fire arrows, fire arrows. Do not let a single one in. The old man was hit by a spear and collapsed to the ground. He muttered to himself, finally, I can die. Now. Suddenly, Chao Mu appeared and slashed through the ghost army with his blood sword. The old man shouted, it is someone from outside. Have the reinforcements arrived? Chao Mu declared, everyone, holding this city for over 40 years is truly admirable. But even for the elite of Great Yan, you must be exhausted. Why not rest well? And leave the rest to me. As Chow Mu helped the old man, he continued fighting the ghost army. He blocked an attack and countered, striking the head of a ghost soldier. Suddenly, multiple spears flew toward him. Chow Mu swiftly blocked and countered again, then leapt high above. The soldiers looked up in awe as Chow Mu unleashed a massive explosion with his attack upon the enemy forces. One old soldier said, "Who is he? So fierce?" His friend responded, "Could it be reinforcements? Have reinforcements finally arrived?" The old man said, "Amazing. It is the same military spear technique, yet he wields such power. But he is just one person. Even if his martial arts are incredible, that will not change the overall situation. In the end, we are alone and helpless." As they watched Chow Mu rampage, he thought to himself, "These are just paper figures. Killing more is meaningless. If this continues, even with abundant qi, I will eventually be exhausted." Suddenly, Wu Chang appeared and said, "Meow." Chow Mu replied, "Wu Chang, why are you out?" "Ah, right. The death energy on the battlefield is the strongest. No, at this point you are just a glutton," Wu Chang replied with another meow. Then Chow Mu felt something in his eyes as Wu Chang gave him a buff with the demon eye sharing. Chow Mu thought to himself, "Are those souls of the dead? They are not entering reincarnation. Where are these souls going? Is there something in that direction? That is too far away. I cannot see it clearly." The souls rushed toward a direction and returned to a board. A junior said, "Senior brother Dao Shun, 300 paper soldiers only killed 13 Great Yan soldiers, gaining 13 souls. You still lost this round of chess." Senior brother Dao Shun replied, "Those soldiers who survived until now are not mediocre. Naturally, they are getting harder and harder to kill. Moreover, there is an outsider martial artist stirring things up." The junior said, "Senior brother Dao Shun, do not be discouraged. Although these old soldiers of the lone city are hard to kill, the quality of their souls is far superior to that of ordinary people. With our Taoist sect's secret methods, as long as we refine them more, how can we worry about not succeeding?" Senior brother Daoshin answered, "That is natural. And this outsider is also very good material." A few moments later, the old soldier said to Chow Mu, "Thanks to your help, old master, we were able to repel the enemy. Please come into the city with me." He introduced himself, 6th rank commander of Great Yan, Hai Siyuan of the Western Army. "Thank you, old master." The army saluted Chow Mu. Later, Chow Mu said to Hai Siyuan, "I, Chow Shuangxin, admire your tenacity in holding out until now." Hai Siyuan responded with a laugh, "Ha ha ha. As soldiers of Great Yan, it is our duty to serve the country. Just now, I saw you using military spear techniques. Dare I ask, old master Chow, are you a soldier of Great Yan?" Chow Mu replied, Yes. Then thought to himself, "I served under Guo Yan's army in Yan City. Although it was not for long, it still counts." As the others looked at Chow Mu, Hai Siyuan asked, Master Chow, could you come somewhere with me?" Chow Mu said, "Sure." A few moments later, Hai Siyuan explained, "In this lone city, besides some old women and children who cannot go to the battlefield, the rest are all soldiers. After 40 years, the city walls have grown weak, unable to withstand battles, nor can they defend against those paper soldiers. Of the 100,000 soldiers from 40 years ago, only 300 old soldiers remain now. And these are their countless tombstones." Chow Mu thought to himself, "The Stele forest outside Angshi Pass consists of empty tombs. Under this lone city, there is an identical Stele forest, where the actual bodies of the soldiers are buried." Hai Siyuan then said, "Master Chow, you said earlier that you were a Great Yan soldier. That was not the truth, was it? You can sense it too, right? Every day my brothers hope that His Majesty still remembers the soldiers and civilians trapped here, and will send reinforcements. But after 40 years, everyone has long accepted reality. And even if you said it was true, we would not dare believe it. One day, we will all be buried here and completely forgotten." As Chow Mu silently looked at Hai Siyuan, he then said, "Captain Hai, have you heard of the Minister of Rights, Hai Wuya?" Hai Siyuan replied, "Hai Wuya is my father. Is he still alive?" Chow Mu said, "He is still alive and is currently serving as the Minister of Rights. He looked after some of my family members. Not only that, but before I came here, I met someone who called himself Mr. Hai. Could he be your younger brother? He has been waiting for you outside the Angxi Pass. He has waited for 14 years. Hai Siyuan said, "At 20 years old, I joined the army, and now I am 60 and have not returned home. To know that my father is still healthy and my brother still misses me, that is more than enough." As he looked at the graveyard, Chow Mu asked, "Are the other generals in the city still here?" Hai Siwan replied. They are all lying here. 20 years have passed since General Li Changge died in battle. For these 20 years, I have led the remaining army, holding on until now, fulfilling my duty as a soldier, protecting the people in the city. Even though we lived dangerously, I still hoped for the day I could return home. But today, I am also a bit confused. Chao Mu asked, why did the Martial Saint, the former Martial General, why did he escape, leaving you to wait for death in this lone city? Hai Siwan said, the Martial General is not a deserter. 40 years ago, the general said, soldiers fought to the death while the Martial fled. Li Changge, am I that kind of coward who clings to life and fears death? Li Changge said, General, what is the point of dying at the hands of these paper soldiers? The general replied, does fleeing before battle have any meaning? Li Changge said, you are the strongest among the 100,000 troops. You are our greatest hope, the general responded. Then why do you not leave? Li Changge, you still have a wife waiting at home. Li Changge grabbed the general and said, you think I do not want to leave? If your martial arts were not superior to mine, I would definitely run faster than you. You, I, and all the generals and soldiers understand the current situation. We are trapped here. Once those soldiers attack, we are like turtles in a jar. Can we fight, and for how long? Brother Wu, for the sake of the 9 provinces, for the sake of the world. Dying is easy, but enduring humiliation to survive lying low in silence, that is more difficult. What Great Yan needs is a pioneer of martial arts, a true expert who can fight these inhuman soldiers, not a general who dies at their hands. Suddenly, soldiers barged in and said, Martial General, we implore the Martial General Wu to withdraw. Others echoed, please withdraw. Martial General, please withdraw. Martial General. Martial General Wu said, you all. Li Changge said, there is no time left, General. Please take this. Martial General Wu asked, you decided this long ago behind my back? Li Changge replied, inside the package are the lifelong learnings of all the generals. Among them is the spirit technique. My wife and I researched it for many years to achieve its current form. It is my family's heirloom. These are the resources we give to you, the pioneer of martial arts. The immortal path is very powerful. Our martial path must also seek progress. We cannot hide away our knowledge. If these techniques can be passed on, if our bloodline can flourish, then our survival will have meant something. Suddenly they heard noises outside. Li Changge turned around and said, it is the war drums. Those inhumans are attacking. As the other soldiers walked out of the camp, they said, Martial General, you must survive. Li Changge added, Martial General, take care. Martial General Wu was silent, then shouted, take care, everyone. Outside, Martial General Wu rode his horse quickly, leaving with tears falling from his eyes. In the present, Hai Siwan said, General Li and the other generals held on for 20 years, and the remaining soldiers have endured until today. As Hai Siwan held the tombstone of Li Changge, he said, I do not know if the Martial General fulfilled the promise he made that day. Chao Mu thought to himself, today's Martial Saint is a ruthless demon who devours people whole. 40 years is too long. I do not know if his obsession ran too deep or if over the long years, he went mad from despair. Hai Siwan said, all right, the story is finished. Old Master Chao, next I would like to ask you for a favor. Chao Mu said, please speak freely. Hai Siwan said, I hope Master Chao will pretend to be an imperial military official. Please enter the city on behalf of Great Yan and lie to the residents and soldiers, telling them that reinforcements are coming, and you are the vanguard of Great Yan. Chao Mu asked, will they believe it? Even if they do, this is nothing more than wishful thinking. Hai Siwan said, with my guarantee they will believe you. We do not understand why those inhuman soldiers have not wiped out our entire army after all these years. But after 40 years of struggle, human strength eventually reaches its limit. With only 300 remaining soldiers, how much longer can we hold out? Since death is inevitable, then before the entire city falls, let the soldiers and civilians inside have some happy days. As the people gathered, a lady said, why have Captain Hai and the others not returned yet? Another old lady said, it is taking a bit too long this time. Another said, hey, they are here, they are here. It looks like quite a few more have died. God bless you for keeping us safe. An old lady cried, it is old Zheng's soldier tag, and Fenger. Letting you father and son go into battle together was meant for you to support each other, not to die together. My son, you were born and raised in this city. You have not even seen the world beyond this great desert. How could you just leave? Another lady sighed and said, if this continues, it will be my family's turn soon. Another lady beside her asked, have we been abandoned by the outside world? Chao Mu said, "No, the outside world has not abandoned you. My name is Chao Shuangsen, a commander of 10,000 from Great Yan's immortal slaying army. Great Yan has not forgotten you. All the sacrifices and perseverance in this lone city over 40 years will spread throughout the 9 provinces. I am not alone, but a vanguard scouting the way. I just met with Captain Hai. Reinforcements are on the way. Behind me are thousands of young warriors." The crowd shouted, "Amazing, we are saved, we can finally leave this place." A man at the back said, "Liar," and he thought to himself, the 9 provinces outside have long since rotted. The elite who died tragically here were already the last backbone of the human race in the 9 provinces. The temples of the 9 great immortal sects have opened in almost every major city across the 9 provinces. This remaining army and this lone city, Great Yan abandoned this place long ago. You, who exactly are you? Thank you so much for watching. That's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to help me grow my channel. Your support means the world to me. Don't forget to leave a comment below. I love hearing from you. Let's keep the conversation going and get those analytics buzzing. Until next time, take care.